Hey fellow simmers, remember that awesome moment when you found out that you don't really have to retype the cheat every time you want to use it, and instead you can simply cycle through the previously entered cheats by pressing arrow up or arrow down. Like, wow, you can save so much time by doing this. Or even better, when you read about the UserStartupCheat and its awesome aliases that you can use to turn any unwindy, incomprehensible cheat into something as simple as just a single letter. Well, what if I told you that that is not the extent of the convenience that you can have with your cheats? And here's what I mean by that. So let's say that our Lilith is not doing that great here, but I want her to keep practicing. So I might be compelled to enter the max motives cheat. What would you normally do? You need to press Ctrl+Shift+C, and in my case you need to remember where that C is located because I'm using both Dvorak and the QWERTY keyboard layout. Then you can either enter the full cheat, max motives, like that, or you can go to the user startup cheat and remember that you have set up an alias, which is, in my case is simply MM. So you type that in the console and you press enter. Well, the magic is done. Or let's just rewind it a bit, and instead of all the action that you can see to the right, I simply press Alt+4. Same thing, but with fewer clicks. Or let's say that I'm working on some sort of a build here, and every now and then I want to see how everything turns out, but you know, this pesky grid is in the way. One thing that I can do is I can enter the design tool here, that removes that for me. I can then press tab to enter the first person camera mode, position my camera as I want it. But the moment I exit this mode, the grid is back again, so I cannot really make any adjustments. I again need to enter the design tool. Yeah, it's tedious. A better way would be to enter the bullprop show visual grid something off, or press Alt+8 for me. Alt+8 once again, and the grid is back. Or let's say that I keep decorating the stage and I want to be able to do both. Position these chairs carefully as per the grid, but when it comes to these balloons, I want to be able to have a more precise positioning. So that of course calls for a snap objects to grid false, which for me is SON alias, so now I can do that. And then if I need to go back, I need to enter SOFF of course, or I can simply press Alt+2 to toggle between the two modes. Alright, the final example before I stop showing off and show how you can do the same thing for you. So let's say I'm filming the setting here and I want to have like a dolly zoom. So I pressed my W, but you know, this camera movement just doesn't do it for me. To me, it feels very rapid. So what I can do to fix that, I can go to my documents, EA Games, The Sims 2, cameras, I enter first person cameras, so I see translation steps and I change that to, let's say, something like 5. So now the camera is a lot smoother. But what I could also do instead of navigating my Windows Explorer is press Ctrl+Shift+F or practically any other key that I choose. This witchcraft is custom shortcuts that you can easily add with the help of a tiny program called Autohotkey. So let me guide you through every step of setting it up. First things first, let's download the Autohotkey app itself. For that, just type in Autohotkey download and the first link will probably be to its official website. Just enter it and on the homepage you'll be able to see version 2.0. That's what you need. Once it finishes downloading, double click to install. Your system might throw this warning like mine does, because Windows is just being paranoid like Windows always is. Just press more info and click on run anyway. Now press install, or if you want you can change the location where this app will be stored on your hard drive. If you're seeing this window, then great, Autohotkey is installed and we can start creating our own custom shortcuts within a new script. You can think of the script as, you know, an additional user startup cheat, just with a couple of gimmicks unique to Autohotkey. For now, let's just press the new script button to create the file in which we will tell Autohotkey what kind of shortcut we want to have. You'll get this window where we can specify the name of the script, and I suggest we go with something like The Sims 2 shortcuts, you know, just to be explicit. We can also change the folder in which the script will be stored, but I'll just go with the default, which is My Documents, right next to the EA Games folder that you should be familiar with. So now the script has been created in the folder. You can see that I already have a couple of my own that I've created before. And here's the first gimmick that I actually explain about the Autohotkey script. First of all, it has a unique format. So if now enable the extension, you can see that it has an AHK after the key period. And what that means is that for the shortcuts to work like we want them to, we first need to double click the script that we've created. So if we go to my tray here, you can see that currently I have active the copy paste with page up, page down. So that's what I have in here. And I also have my second The Sims 2 shortcuts that I've created for myself. Now you can see that I have a third one called mouse to num keys. And so for me to be able to use it, I need first to double click it. just like so. And now you'll be able to see that I have the third one in here. And so if the script that you create stops working at some point in the future, just make sure to double check if you still have it active in the tray, because sometimes it can get accidentally closed. Or what you can also do is to add this program to your Windows startup. For that, let's just press with our right mouse button and create a shortcut. We will then cut the shortcut. After that, let's press Windows and R. This will open out this command line. You need to type in shell and startup and press OK. Now let's paste that shortcut for the script in here. And now you don't need to worry about running the script manually because it'll start along with Windows. Now to stop actually writing the script, we need to click with our right mouse button and select edit this script. I suggest we take a look at the script that I've already created because, well, this way it's going to be a bit easier for us to see what it consists of. You can simply recreate what I have in here or even copy paste, because I will be posting this script on my SimFilterNet so that you can easily download it and use it right away from the box, not having made any adjustments, if you like what I have in here. Alright, now let's take a look at the script itself. And first of all, don't freak out. I know this can look a bit intimidating at the first glance, but trust me, if you've managed to create your own user startup cheat, you'll be able to handle this one too, so don't worry. Though I do suggest we move to the center here where I have some of the easier shortcuts. This way it's gonna be simpler for me to explain everything. So in this section in the middle, which I have called live cheats, we have 4 separate shortcuts. So each one of these little sections is a separate shortcut, and you can notice that they have pretty much the same structure. The only 2 things that are different are the cheat itself and the number that I have decided to use as my shortcut. And so with every shortcut, you start by declaring the actual keys that you want to serve as a shortcut. And the gimmick of Autohotkey is that for some reason it uses a special symbol for keys like Ctrl, Shift and Alt. And so this is equal to left, Alt and 4. Then we add 2 colons, and after the colons we have a set of commands that our computer executes for us basically. Then the last thing that tells the computer that this shortcut is over is the command return at the end. Now, as for what happens in the middle of this shortcut, the first line here basically means computer, make it look as if we have entered Ctrl, Shift and C, which, as you most certainly know, opens the cheat console in the game. Then this line in here means pause for some time, and this delay is actually a variable that is specified all the way at the top of the script. So I can see the very first line here says delay equals to 100, which I believe stands for 100 milliseconds. You enter the console, you sleep for some time, and then again you type max motives, which is one of the cheats I showed you in the very beginning. After that, you press enter as the key, like the enter key above the shift. And that is the reason why we have it within the curly brackets. If we didn't have those curly brackets, well, you know what? Let's actually try changing it and go to see what it looks like. I will remove the brackets, press Ctrl S to save the changes, but that is not enough for the Autohotkey changes to take effect. What we also need to do is go to the tray once again, press right mouse button and say reload this script. If we receive no errors, then everything went well and we can go back to the game and see how that has changed everything for us. So if you remember, that was the Alt 4 shortcut. Before that, it used to, increase the motives of everyone on the lot. So now let's see, if I press Alt 4, the console has opened up and the computer did exactly what we told it to do. It sent max motive and the word enter. So now let's add those curly brackets back, already having the, and believe it or not, this is like 90% of it. Just with these 6-8 lines, you can already create a bunch of shortcuts for practically every cheat code that you want to use in the game. All you need to do for that is basically replace this cheat with the cheat that you want, and then you can also change what should serve as your shortcut. I found that using left, alt and the num keys is the most convenient way for me. But you can go for something as simple as just using a simple letter, like, I don't know, a T or a K. Though I do not suggest you do it this way, because then if you have, let's say, a baby in the game and you start typing their name and it includes K, then the script will also work. My advice would be to use a shortcut that consists at least of 2 keys to avoid any sort of conflict with the shortcuts that we already have in the game. And if you're not sure about how to enter some specific keys, like, the Shift and Control, you can always go in here and press Help. Enter something like keys, list of keys. You get a comprehensive list of everything and how you should enter it within the script. However, this structure here works best for the cheats that don't have the on-off or true-false parameters to it. So for cheat codes like snap objects to green on and off, or move objects on and off, we need to create something a bit more elaborate. And I'm not gonna lie, these two cheats in here are the ones that I use all the time when I'm playing, because again, they're just so helpful. Whether you're building, or you're filming machinima, or simply in the game, sometimes you just want to toggle move objects on and off. And so to be able to do that just using a single key instead of just creating a separate shortcut for move objects on and move objects off, so we need to add just an additional little thing at the top. And that thing is a variable that will tell our computer whether or not we have already entered the cheats before. So what we do is we name our variable some way. I decided to just go with the alias that I'm familiar with. And at the startup, my move objects on is false. Then my snap objects are also false. And constraint for versions are true, so, which is usually how it is in the game. Then we use a simple if and else logic. Basically, when we press Alt and 1, we let the computer choose between the two. If move objects on is set to true, then please do the command in here. But by default, move objects on is false, and so our computer will perform these actions. Like before, it will open up the console for us, it will wait for some time, and it will enter move objects on. So for the first time in the game, it's gonna enable the cheat. And then it's gonna change the variable to true. So the next time we press Alt and 1 as our shortcut, it will follow the same logic. If move object on is true, and since we've set it to true, it will perform these three actions and now enter move objects off. Once it enters move objects off, presses enter, it sets move objects on to false. And so we basically toggle between the two conditions here. Now when it comes to cheats that require your manual numerical input, like in my case I only have the ones for slow motion, you can go two routes. You can do it like I did here, so simply create each possible variation and tie it to a specific key shortcut. So in my case, when I press Ctrl Alt and the corresponding number, that changes the slow motion to that number. So Ctrl Alt 1 makes slow motion 1, Ctrl Alt 4 makes slow motion 4. However, if you wanted to use cheats like family funds, where you need to enter the surname and then the amount of money, or maybe a straight skeleton, and you want to manually input the number, you basically only need to remove the plus enter part of it. Let's try and change it for this shortcut. So I will leave Alt 5 as the trigger, but I will replace this motive decay with family funds. Then I will add one space, so you know that when we start typing, it starts with one space away from family funds, and I will leave the plus sign like that. Then I will save the document, reload this script. Now when I press Alt 5, it says family funds, adds one space, and I can start typing the surname of the family. Now, one thing that you can also do is enter multiple cheats at the same time, not just one. This is exactly what I have done for my machinima startup. When I start my machinima session, I usually have a number of cheats that I want to enter, and just not to do that one by one, I can enter them in bulk. So let's see how that works. So whenever I press Ctrl, Alt and 9, just like before, we tell the computer to press Ctrl+Shift+C to open the console. Then we tell it to sleep for some time, and I think I've mentioned that before with the other shortcuts. So the reason we add this line in here is that if we don't, then the computer may process all of these commands before the game registers that we want to do something with it. So that's just like a gimmick of Autohotkey being quicker than the game. Then we send the code to expand our console in here. So this is how it's gonna look once it's expanded. With the expanded console, when you enter the cheat and you press enter, the console does not close automatically. And then we basically stop entering the cheats one by one. So first, move objects on, then again snap objects to grid off, then show headlines off, motive decay off, and finally we tell it to expand once again, read like so, and press enter. Let's take a look at it in action. So now I press Ctrl Alt 9. This is what it looks like. I'm ready to film some machinima. The last thing that I want to show you is how you can run any file from within the game. For that, we're going to use the command that is called run. Again, we start with the shortcut itself, which in my case is Ctrl, Shift and F. Then after 2 colons, we enter this command run. We place a comma after it, and then we need to add a specific path to it. And the way you can easily get it is if you go to your EA Games The Sims 2 cameras folder, you press Shift and you click with your right mouse button. You will have this copy as path option in here. And after that, we can go to script to paste our copied path. Though don't forget to remove these quotation marks because I believe Autohotkey does not recognize them. Now I press Ctrl+Shift+F and I open the file. And that's pretty much it. Please let me know down in the comments which cheat codes and shortcuts you decide to use for yourself. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask those, I'll do my best to help. Good luck and happy simming!